All right, you've created your rocks. Now, where do they actually show up? So I'm on the rocks page right now. If you utilize the planning board, which we'll go over thoroughly in another video, you'll also see them in the current column here. So I can see the rocks that I'm currently working on, planning board, and in my list view. And then how am I going to really utilize these on a weekly, on a quarterly, and on an annual basis? So on a weekly basis, I will use them in my level 10 meeting because when I come into my meetings and I just jump into a level 10, this is a standard part of the agenda and they will all show up here. As I go through my meeting, I can see the details, I can open them up, or I can turn them into issues. I'll also be able to see these. So I'll jump out of this meeting. I'll also be able to see them on my 90. So my 90 is, again, my specific information. And so if any rocks I own or any rocks where I own a milestone will appear in my rocks and milestones area. So here you can see the same level of detail where I'll get the rock title. I can drill down and I can see the milestones associated. I can open this up and see the details of the rock thoroughly on the right-hand side of the screen. So this is my weekly check-in. How am I doing? What do I need to keep eyes on for this week? Will all be visible in that rocks and milestones area because it's anything that I specifically own from a rock perspective or any milestones that I own, even if I don't own that rock. And then when we think about, so I'm getting my rocks done on a weekly basis, checking off milestones, viewing them on my 90, viewing them during that level 10 meeting. I also have visibility during my quarterly and my annual planning. So that comes through on the VTO when we go to the traction page and I can see my company rocks listed here, but it also comes through when I run a meeting. So in my meetings area, I can say, let's go to a quarterly session and it'll be the same way with annual. So I'll just use the one as the example. But when I go through and review prior quarter, this is where I can say, hey, any rocks that aren't done yet, let's clone them, make them long-term issues so we can decide if they should be rocks again. And then I can archive everything and wipe the slate clean. So this is my chance to review, and then this is my chance to set up new rocks as we're going through that process of deciding what are my priorities for next quarter. And this is all pre-built into that quarterly agenda. Or I may utilize my rocks on a quarterly basis when I'm thinking about people and performance reviews. And so when I come into my one-on-ones, I have my quarterly and annual reviews. And a part of this process, a part of this form is going to be looking at the rocks that were assigned to the person over the time frame selected. So you can see here, a natural part of the performance conversation is data, and that's going to be our rock completion rate for the time frame that you selected, to-dos and measurables associated. So you really have your rock visibility weekly, quarterly, annually through my 90 for my specific ones, through just the generic rocks page for any teams you have visibility to, in your level 10 meetings, in your quarterly planning, in your annual planning, and then also in your performance management here with quarterly reviews or annual reviews. If you do have any questions about rock setting, visibility, any of the things I've touched on here, please reach out to us. We'd love to help. Thanks.